that? Oh God, I'm gonna die. I gotta get this on camera. No. Hey everybody, welcome to the Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino. I'm excited to have my guest today. I am welcoming back filmmaker Dylan A. Young. He has his own production company, Stolen Thunder Pictures, his own merch company, Video Nasties, and his four most recent films include The Fool, Similar Suspects, Sorry for the Mess, and The Kid's Revenge. And he has a number of other short and longer films available on his various social media channels. We'll get into that later. But Dylan, thank you so much for being back on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I had a great time last time.
I love your films. We were talking before. I was refreshing my memory about your past films that I've watched, and I watched your most recent as well. I really think you have such a great eye, and just it looks so professional, and your films are so well done. You know, whether it's trailers or short films, I really enjoy watching them. So tell me what's been going on with you. I know we're in the thick of festival season. I know you have some new films out. Talk to me about what you've been up to.
Keeping myself busy. There's been a lot going on lately. Festival season has been fun. Right now, my main project doing festivals is Sorry for the Mess. I just went to a couple recently. I did the Chicago Horror Film Festival. It was a great time. It was my first time attending. And it was like the big sister project, like big sister festival to the indie horror film festival that I went to last year in Chicago. So it was cool to see the whole setup a lot bigger with a lot more people and everything. And then the next weekend, I went to FrankenCon for the third time, but it was my first time setting up a table. So that was really cool. I got to interact with a lot of people, but it was my third year in a row with them playing a film. So they played Sorry for the Mess, and it was a good time, and got some good feedback from it.
Tell me about Sorry for the Mess. And I watched it. I really liked it. I liked the message behind it. But tell everybody what that film's about. And that's just on the festival circuit right now, right? That's not released yet.
Yeah, that one is not currently available. It's going to come out sometime between like October and February. It is essentially a suicide awareness PSA about a young high school aged boy that's just been struggling with some issues both in his home life and in his school life. And he's not really sure who to talk to about it or what to do about it.
You know, we talked last time, I remember, your films, obviously as a filmmaker, you want it to have a theme or there's, most filmmakers have like a certain style or something they tend to gravitate towards. Your films always do have an underlying message, even with Better Safe Than Sorry. I remember that one specifically. And so for you, when you do these films, especially with topics that are that heavy, what are you hoping that the audience takes away from that, specifically with Sorry for the Mess? And what was the inspiration behind that film?
Yeah. We'll keep the second part of the question simple. Life's tough. Sometimes, everybody has those moments where they don't know what to do in life, and everybody struggles in one shape or another. And I feel like whenever I approach subjects like this was something that I had been working on for years, and I've rewritten various different times. It was inspired by a Stephen King short story. It's very, very different from that now, and I'm very happy for what it is at this point. my purpose is for people to have cathartic experiences. People shy away from taboo subjects, and I think it's kind of like, why not just try to approach them appropriately? Why not, try to show them for what they really are and have a good message along with it, So, my goal is just that people are able to have a bit of an emotional release through it. And, it's happened already. And I'm very happy with some of the reactions that I've gotten and people letting me know that it was really important to them.
Who's the actor that was in Sorry for the Mess? Because he did a really, really good job. And I'm sorry I forgot his name, but he was
No,
great.
it's okay. That's Patrick Sharn. He's a great actor based out of Nashville. He's also the lead in The Kid's Revenge, and he has a part in Similar Suspects as well. And he helped with crew work on The Fool.
Awesome. So speaking about, just somebody who's been in several of your films, I know we talked about this before, but what I love about the indie world and what I see with yourself and other filmmakers is that you really do form a family with the people that you work with. And oftentimes, whether it's crew or actors, you guys are all sort of, you're working together on various projects. It reminds me of John Waters and his camp, for all the films that he did in the 70s, into even his most recent films, or his more, I guess, commercial films like Hairspray and Crybaby.
Yep.
That's what it makes me think of. I don't know why I always go to John Waters, but John Waters is what I think of when I think of that family of filmmakers and crew. For you, that has to have been a huge help in getting all of these projects off the ground, right?
Yeah, I mean, we help each other. I spent a couple of weeks down in Nashville helping Patrick with a personal project of his that he was directing earlier this year. It's like, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, everybody wins. And it's funny that you bring up Waters. I actually just saw Desperate Living and Pink Flamingos for the first time. When I was in town at FrankenCon, I went to Central Cinema, and they did a John Waters double bill. It was a blast.
Two of the films that I watched, which were really cool, and I didn't know they were just trailers, was for The Fool, right? And then The Kid's Revenge.
Similar Suspects and The Kid's Revenge.
That's right. Similar Suspects and The Kid's Revenge. Tell me about those two films and what the purpose was behind that. Because when I saw those two, I asked you, like, before we started, are these movies? Because I mean, it's awesome because you created these really, kind of, what's the word? It kept you stimulated, like you really were focused,
like
engaging. There you go. I'm at a loss for words today.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, so the Similar Suspects and The Kid's Revenge. So tell me what those were done for. Was it a competition, or what did you put those together for?
Yeah, so those were both for the same contest, a year apart from each other. The Kid's Revenge was done first. That was through the Knoxville Horror Film Festival. So I had gotten Good Morning, my old short, into the Knoxville Horror Film Festival, and I looked on the page and I was like, this seems really cool. I think I'm going to go to this. And then I saw they're doing the Grindhouse Grind Out contest, and it is a Grindhouse film trailer contest where you get 2 weeks to make a feature film trailer based on whatever genre you get at the draft in person. And it is a blast, and it is an interesting and intense experience to plan, shoot, edit, and turn in something like that looks like it was shot over weeks, and do it that quickly.
Let me ask you, because watching those two trailers and then watching your other films, obviously, is it harder to make something like a trailer because it's edited really quick? I mean, it's fast, it's a different pace.
Yeah.
And basically you're putting together two short films that are very different than your other work, because like I said, it's quick edits, it's all of these different scenes where sometimes with your one film, you may have one location or a few locations. So did you find that to be more challenging doing the trailer competitions?
So like, yes, the hardest part for me for both of those was like, well, I don't know. There was a lot of hard parts, but finding a location was tough. And believe it or not, both of those were done with one location. Similar suspects. I found one Airbnb house where every room was painted a different color, and we could use the front yard and the backyard and do whatever we wanted. Um, that was shot in 2 days. And the Kids Revenge was an old West town that I found, and they basically just allowed us to rent out some of their like housing for a couple of nights, and we shot for 2.5 days.
Wow. For the Similar Suspects one, that one I really thought was in all different locations. So great job.
That was the goal going into it. You want to try to keep everything so central, so you don't have to be like packing up and packing out gear constantly because it eats up so much of your production time.
Well, great job on both of those.
Thank you.
Talk about The Fool, because that's a short film.
Yeah, so that was made for a Nashville film showcase called Dare to Fail. It was my first time doing that, and it is a 1 minute film showcase that they do about once a month at a comedy club called Third Coast Comedy down in Nashville, Tennessee. And this was my first time doing it, and the monthly theme was Fool. And I had this idea for this film the night that they mentioned it on Instagram, and it was keeping me up a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I think I have to make this. So I woke up the next day, wrote it, send it to the actor, send it to the DP. It took forever to figure out the location for that one. Shout out to Patrick Sharn. We shot it at his parents' house. And yeah, it came together pretty quickly. We shot for a few hours. It was really a big high praise to my actor. Tyler Weisenhower is very talented, and he was able to essentially like time his performance because you've seen it. There's not a lot of edits in it, and it had to be within 1 minute, and there can only be like 10 seconds of credits. And there was this thing where like I'm at the director's monitor with a stopwatch like, all right, start over. It's like we just have to keep doing it until we had it right in the like perfect amount of time, basically.
Well, that one was done really well too, because I didn't realize that it had to be like exactly a minute. It seems longer, but because you were able to accomplish what you wanted to with the character in that short amount of time. So, I enjoyed that as well. When you make these different films, and I know the purpose isn't always to make them to enter into, a festival,
Right.
but what has been the benefit for you in, entering these different contests, number one, and then obviously showing them at these different, festivals? Have you gotten some good, I guess, established some good contacts out of that? What has it led to? Has it helped in your, movie making career?
Community, friendships, finding cool places, getting to travel to do stuff that I wouldn't have done otherwise. I wouldn't have gone to Chicago twice in the last 2 years if it weren't for this stuff. If it weren't for FrankenCon, I never would have gone to Knoxville, never would have found out about Central Cinema, Knoxville Horror Film Festivals, met my friends out there. It's like, it's a lot of that. It's like, yeah, you get an award sometimes, but like, I guess the other main thing is like, for me, like kind of the most rewarding part of filmmaking is like being at a screening with a lot of people for your own movie and like hearing crowd reactions. It's like, when people get scared or when people get sad and stuff, and it's like I'm able to show my emotions through my film to someone and then pick up on it. It's like that is just such a great feeling as a director. It just makes me feel like I've done my job.
Are you working on anything right now? Which is, I'm sure you are, because you're always working on things. But what are some upcoming things that we can also expect? Or if you could give us, a synopsis of maybe some of what you're working on.
Yeah, so like when we shot Similar Suspects, it was shot back to back with DeAndre Teagle's first directorial debut project, Split Blood, which is a short film proof of concept that is also the beginning of a feature film. So I produced that with him. We did a crowdfunding campaign. I was his assistant director, and I'm just now finishing up the edit. I got the last VFX shot, well, the only VFX shot back today. Shout out to Alan, Alan VFX on Instagram. He does great work. And really excited for that to come out here soon. It is a family drama, family crime drama, and I'm really excited for people to get to see that. And then personally, it's like doing some writing, doing some editing, gonna be releasing Similar Suspects soon, gonna be revisiting an old project that I never finished soon in post. And then it's just like, trying to get a feature off the ground. I got a few scripts going around, trying to figure out funding. I've got a little bit in place, but I just got to get a little more to make it worthwhile. And then separately from all of that, I'm going to be doing a slasher movie final. So
Oh my gosh. I
yeah.
was going to ask.
It's called Camp Laughter. And we will be crowdfunding for it soon, and I'm very excited. We're going to do the same kind of route as Split Blood, where I'm going to make like the first like 10 minutes of the movie, and then we'll do another campaign to try to make a feature. Maybe I'll get some like funding from an investor group or something like that before we do the feature. But it's kind of like a set in the 80s, but it's almost like a satire of old 80s slashers, so it'll still be kind of crazy and kind of scary, but I'm looking for some laughs as well.
I love, you can see Jason here kind of in Jaws right
Yeah.
there. I love 80s slashers, as I've told you last time, and I say over and over again, people are sick of hearing it, but I absolutely love the 80s slashers. So, doing kind of a satire on that's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
The Friday franchise is my favorite, and that is the biggest influence on these.
Yeah, that's going to be great. What was finally what kind of got you into doing the slasher finally?
It's like I've always wanted to do one, never knew when it was the right time, never had the perfect idea, etc., etc. But I started this like probably 2 years ago, actually, as a one-page screenplay contest, and it didn't really advance much in the contest, and I was like, whatever, I want to make this anyways. So I cast people, and then I rewrote it, and I rewrote it, and then it was like a 5-page screenplay, and now it's about to be a 10-page screenplay, and then it's about to be a feature. So it's just been a fun progress kind of thing, and I'm taking my time with art. I've been hiring out some artists to make like the camp designs and other designs that I would kind of be spoilers, but just taking my time with this one, trying to make it pretty high concept, well, not high concept, high concept technically for a horror short. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. We're going to be doing some interesting stunt work, some interesting special effects work, and it should be a good time.
One of the things that you're also working on is you have, what is it? It's called like a genre.
Yeah, the genre film. Yeah, so the genre film club is something that I just recently started, and we're about to have our first event at the Misfit / the Hereafter in downtown Louisville, and it is just a thing where this first event is biker film night, and I have programmed a couple of mystery features, and I'm bringing in a local filmmaker, playing some shorts, doing an interview. There's going to be music videos, there's going to be trailers for other biker films, and it should be a lot of fun. And one thing that I've been really hard at work is I made an intermission cut of a film to play in the middle of the movies that is like a 30-minute condensed cut of another film that I wanted to play.
Oh, wow. So you're starting with biker kind of night theme. Are you going to do multiple, are you going to do others like this, but with different themes, obviously? And
Yeah, so anybody that listens to this first, surprise, it is going to be a monthly series. And month 2 will be creature features.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Are you gonna make anything you think for that too?
I think that the 30-minute intermission film cuts will be something that I want to do a lot. I was actually working on mine when you messaged me to see if I wanted to start early, and I figured why not. So yeah, I've already started prepping creature feature night for July.
I also have to imagine that doing this genre film club is also an opportunity to showcase local creatives and along with yourself, but it's opening the door also to others and giving them a spotlight. I'm sure for you, and you can speak to this yourself, getting your work out there is important, but do you also feel like for you it's also rewarding to be able to spotlight your friends and just other creatives that are out there doing it like you are?
For sure. Our first month is already announced, so shout out to Gavin Oakley Reed. We're excited to have him out. We're going to be playing a couple of his films that I'm just about to announce on social media, so I'll go ahead and give it over here. Woodpecker and Shroomhead, and it should be a blast. Very excited to just kind of like help create more community in the Louisville film scene. It's just fun, especially with like people that like old genre movies, to be able to get together and have different filmmakers connect and meet each other and help try to like build a little bit of a network. Because maybe I screen a few different filmmakers' films over the next few months, and by the time November rolls around, they're all working on a short film together because they got to connect there.
What is your long-term goal in terms of, are you looking to eventually do like a long, like a feature, a long film, or where are you with that, and kind of what do you think of that? Because you've done some great short films and some longer ones, but are you looking to do like a full feature eventually?
Yeah, as soon as I can obtain a budget that justifies a feature film, I'm all about it. I'm very excited for it. I've already started trying to figure out financing for my first feature.
Do you know what genre that's going to be in?
So, um, so it's like it could be the slasher film. It could also. I'm toying around with a couple of other ideas. I have a featured film script for a home invasion thriller that I've been trying to push. There's lots of other ideas. Something else that I've been really leaning towards recently is doing like an old folk horror tale. So we'll see what happens, but I'm open to some different things. I've got plenty of ideas in the back of my head that are dying to be written out.
And I probably asked you this last time, but is there something like that you haven't done yet that you want to really do in terms of whether it's, a certain genre or a certain kind of film? Like I said, your films always do have a message behind them. I like the dark. I love all of that. Are you looking at trying to do something else, or is there something else that's percolating?
I'm open to whatever, really. It's like if the idea speaks to me, I'm all about it. But just because of like this whole biker film night thing I have coming up, I'm all about the biker films right now. I'd love to do a biker film.
That's awesome. That would be great. Is there anyone that you would love to collaborate with, whether it's another indie, filmmaker, or just, in general, somebody that you wanted to work with?
Oh, that's interesting. I try not to think about that stuff because I don't like worrying about like having my hopes up about stuff. But like, I guess like if I could work with anybody in the industry right now, like it might be cool to try to like write something with like Alex Garland. If you're familiar with his work, he did like Ex Machina, Annihilation, Min. He just did Civil War, which I've yet to see still, which is crazy because I should have seen it in theaters. But he wrote the Dread remake. He wrote 28 Days Later. He's just a really great writer, really insightful.
Now, I know a lot of filmmakers have been getting their work on like Tubi and other streaming platforms. Is that something you've done yet, or do you want to ultimately do that? What's sort of your way to get the work out there? I know you have your YouTube channel and you have various social media channels, but is that a goal down the line, or have you done that yet?
Yeah, so like right now I've just been really pushing my Vimeo channel. It's like while I've got a bunch of short projects, it's like you don't streaming can be tough. I've got a streaming distribution agent and he's helped me get on some very small different streaming services. I believe I'm on Horror Max. I believe I'm on Filmstar. I think I've got some stuff up on Troma now, but it's kind of hard to find homes for streaming with revenue for short films, etc. It's been a fun experience, just kind of like doing it a little bit more for experimentation and like just to learn and stuff. But I think, once I get that feature film going on, that's whenever I'm going to be looking forward to like, can I get this on Shudder or Amazon Prime or Tubi, or where's it going to find its best home?
Mentioning Video Nasties, talk to the audience again about what kind of merch they can find and where they can find that.
Yeah, so it's just videonastys.com, videonastys.com. And it's just like officially licensed horror merchandise for a lot of like more obscure projects that I like, stuff like Pieces, Street Trash. We've got stuff for Lucio Fulci's The Beyond. We've got stuff for 420 Massacre. Just mostly t-shirts and a couple of hats. There's a pin of Herschel Gordon Lewis, the godfather of gore. But yeah, I've definitely shifted my focus into filmmaking over the years, and things have started to kind of calm down with the store. And, maybe I'll have to take it in another direction one day. But right now we're just trying to like push some of the stock of some of the stuff that we've got right now.
And I see all the DVDs behind you. Have you ever, or will you eventually? Because I love physical media. I know we live in a streaming world now with everything. Music, I have a bunch of vinyls. Like I also grew up like in the 80s, so I love all physical media. Do you ever see yourself, maybe with a feature, getting those on DVD, like your own DVDs?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think with the features, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to make some super limited like 4K Blu-rays and some VHSs and stuff, but like definitely Blu-rays. If there's some weird scenario where my first feature is through a studio and I don't get any say in that, whatever. But otherwise, I'm definitely gonna be having Blu-rays printed up of my first feature for sure.
That'd be awesome. Where can people find all your work again if they want to find your short films? Where can they go to find all that?
Yeah, so like I push a lot of people to like Linktree or my Instagram. My Instagram's Dylan A. Young, DylanAYoung. And there's my Linktree there. There's a Vimeo channel. That's where you're going to see all of my stuff in the highest quality. There's just like less compression on there than YouTube. That's why a lot of filmmakers tend to have a Vimeo channel, but YouTube's there too. Either one of those sources are definitely going to be your best way to watch stuff. And if you're on Instagram or even just like on Facebook, finding me, keeping up with me, I'll be posting about new stuff I've got coming out soon, new projects I'm starting, etc.
Is there anything else that you want to add or get out there? Anything that I didn't touch on?
If you want to make a movie, make a movie. Don't let things stop you.